I remember the first time I realized that not everyone in the world could be trusted. I was 7 years old, small and quiet, a girl who believed in fairy tales and happy endings. I believed that adults were always good, that the world outside was safe, and that people who smiled at you never wanted to hurt you. I was wrong. He wasn't a teacher, not exactly, just a volunteer at my school. A man everyone seemed to adore. Charismatic, helpful, always cheerful. He had this way of smiling at you that made you feel special, like you mattered. At 7, that attention felt like sunlight. But soon, the warmth turned cold. The first incident was subtle. A touch on the shoulder, a whisper in my ear, a hand lingering too long while helping me with my art. I froze. I didn't know how to name the feeling, but my body did. The warning bell inside me rang, sharp and relentless. But I was 7. I didn't understand. I didn't know what abuse was. I just knew it scared me. And that fear was all he needed to keep me silent. He manipulated me slowly. There were threats I didn't understand, promises I couldn't keep, and a web of lies I couldn't escape. If you ever tell anyone, I'll kill your family. We share a special secret that no one can ever know. If you speak, you'll ruin everything you love. Every day at school, every moment alone, I carried the weight of his presence. Even when he wasn't there, I became hyper-aware of my surroundings, avoiding adults, avoiding attention, shrinking into corners. I laughed with my friends, yes, but part of me always stayed in that dark corner of the classroom, waiting for the world to notice, waiting for danger to come. When the school year ended, life changed, at least externally. My family moved for unrelated reasons. I switched schools. I thought moving would mean leaving the abuse behind, but trauma doesn't work that way. And that, in my new school, I was shy, quiet, well-behaved. No one knew about the storm I carried inside me. I avoided closeness, trusted no one fully, and whenever a man came too close, my body stiffened automatically. A hug felt dangerous. Praise felt suspicious. Touch felt threatening. I didn't tell anyone, not my parents, not my teachers, not my friends. I didn't even understand myself fully. Therapy, years later, helped me unpack fragments of that time, but the memories never left. They lived in the corners of my mind, whispering, haunting, reminding me that childhood innocence had been stolen. Even as a teenager, I felt a gnawing fear that the world wasn't safe. In college, I had friends, yes, but I always measured every word, every movement, every interaction. Trust didn't come naturally. It had to be earned, painstakingly, inch by inch. I buried the past deep inside me, and for years I pretended it wasn't there. It was only in my early 20s that a friend shared her story. A similar experience, though she had taken action. She had told an adult her abuser had gone to court, been convicted, and jailed. Justice finally served. When she asked me if something had ever happened to me, my throat tightened. The words I had held inside for over a decade refused to come out. I nodded barely. That tiny nod, and the floodgates opened. Her anger at me, gently expressed, but powerful, made me face a truth I had avoided. Maybe I had the chance to confront him in some way. I explained why I had never told anyone. The fear, the threats, the statute of limitations, the legal risk. But the seed was planted. Was there really nothing I could do? That question haunted me for weeks, months, even years.
The first step was simple. Google. Social media. Name. Location. There he was. Older, grayer, but unmistakably him. Alive. Still free. still walking around as if the past had never existed. And then I saw the news. Terminal cancer. My pulse quickened. The realization hit me like a wave. This was my only chance. If I wanted acknowledgement, if I wanted answers, it had to happen now. I sent a friend request. He accepted. My hands shook as I typed, "Hey, I'm OP from school. Do you remember me?" "Yes, I remember you," he replied. When I called him, adrenaline took over. His voice was weak, sick, human, not the terrifying figure of my childhood. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "I need to hear you say what you did to me," I said, voice trembling but firm. He denied, he hesitated, he evaded. I pushed. I reminded him of the statute of limitations, of his terminal illness, of the fact that acknowledgement would cost him nothing but could finally give me closure. After relentless pressure, he confessed. Every detail, every memory, every violation. I had recorded the entire conversation. Legal where I lived. One-party consent. I uploaded it to a cloud drive. I sent links to his wife and adult stepson. Weeks passed. His stepson eventually responded, apologizing for what the man had done. And then, revelation. The wife had listened. She left, took the children, took the money, severed ties completely. He died alone, isolated, with no support, no family, no one left. His final months were spent in futile attempts to reconnect, to repair, to reach out. My revenge was complete, but it didn't feel triumphant. It felt final. I had closure. My younger self had been heard. That was enough. I'm over 30 now. I'm not over it, but I've accepted it as part of my story. I did not let it define me. Trauma has a way of following you, shaping you, haunting you, but reclaiming your voice, facing the person who hurt you, and witnessing justice in some form, even outside the legal system, gives a power that nothing else can. The past shapes you, but it doesn't own you. And for the first time in decades, that little girl inside me could finally breathe. If you've ever faced something you couldn't speak about, know that your voice matters. Your story matters. And sometimes closure comes in ways you never expect. If you want to hear more real-life stories like this, stories of courage, survival, and justice, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. And if this story moved you, leave a comment below, share your thoughts, or just let me know you're here. Your support means more than words can express. Remember, even in the darkest chapters of our past, strength, resilience, and hope can guide us forward. Thank you for listening.